Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe and like this video and listen to my story till the end and let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. Today I'm sharing something raw, something painful, something real that happened to me. And I need you with me till the end. My name is Marina Easton. I'm 34. And just 3 weeks ago, I walked away from what I believed was a 2-year love story, only to discover I'd been writing the script alone. He wasn't just my partner in rent or holidays. In my head, he was my future. In his, apparently nothing. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He didn't slam a door. He simply told me like it was nothing that we were never exclusive. I stared at him, stunned, the word exclusive landing on my ears like an insult I didn't even know I'd earned. He said it like it was a harmless correction, as if I had simply misread a signal on a busy street. You just assumed, he said, as though I had believed something outlandish. And for a moment, maybe a long one, I just nodded. Not because I understood. Not because I agreed. But because I suddenly knew if I opened my mouth, I'd beg. Beg to understand how shared rent, shared toothbrush holders, shared Sunday brunches didn't add up to us. I couldn't beg. Not for something that should have been obvious. They say breakups are dramatic. Screaming, shattering, fiery exits. But mine felt like someone shutting off the lights in a room I didn't even realize had power until it went dark. Got it, I whispered. Even though I didn't get it at all. Let's go back to the beginning. His name was Liam Archer. We met on a Sunday in early summer at a friend's rooftop barbecue. The kind of day where the sunlight seems shy but generous, and the smell of grilled food makes strangers look almost beautiful. He was standing by the drinks table, laughing at something small, a joke I never got to hear, holding a plate like it was unfamiliar territory. And when our eyes met, oh, that jolt. That ridiculous, warm, fluttering jolt that makes you think you're in a movie. Or like the universe might be winking at you just for showing up. He was easy. Too easy. Funny without trying. Honest in a way that felt like safety. We talked for hours like books opened and secrets whispered between pages. Strange how easy it felt to talk to someone whose space you didn't realize you were already reserving in your heart. Before I left that night, he asked for my number. That very evening he texted first. Made it home. Had fun talking to you. No games. No waiting. Just words that felt like warmth after winter. By the 3rd month, he was at my apartment more nights than not. It wasn't official, but his toothbrush beside mine, his favorite mug in my cabinet, and his jacket hanging on my coat rack said a lot more than labels ever did. By 6 months, he was scrolling apartment listings on his phone and browsing 2-bedrooms like it was the most practical step in the world. We're already here every day, he said. It just makes sense. I heard I choose you, even though what he said was financial sense. And just like that, without fanfare, I fell in deeper. We lived like a couple, maybe even more than a couple. We split bills. We cooked dinners for each other, his spicy curry on Fridays, my easy pasta on Tuesdays. We met families, laughed through birthdays, became the pair my friends assumed was rock solid. I wasn't naive. I was hopeful. And when you share a life, not just a bed, it's not unreasonable to believe in us. Right? Right? But here's the thing, sometimes the first cracks don't scream. They whisper. And you only notice them when the pieces fall out from under you. Right now, take a moment and think. Has someone ever made you believe in something you wanted so badly that you ignored warning signs? Drop a red heart in the comments if yes. If not yet, just stay with this, something is coming. I got home from work one Tuesday exhausted, bone-deep tired, dreaming of collapsing on my couch with leftovers and convos that didn't require effort. But when I walked in, it was like a roommate was there. Not the man I loved. No greeting. No warmth. Just silence and the cold glow of a phone screen he barely glanced up from. He'd eaten already earlier with someone he called just a friend. Just a friend. Just a word that dropped into my chest like a stone. And the worst part wasn't the dinner. It was how easily he made me feel wrong for asking. Tomorrow in part 2, you'll hear about the quiet moments that should have been nothing, but quickly became everything, and how my gut began screaming a truth I didn't want to admit. You won't want to miss it. The worst betrayals don't come with warnings. They come in silence, in shrugs, in half smiles and locked phones. That night after dinner, if you could call it that, Liam barely said a word. He scrolled on his phone, blue light flickering across his face like a shield. I sat beside him, eyes locked on the TV, though I couldn't tell you what show was playing. The apartment didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a hallway I wasn't allowed to walk down. When he finally got up and said, "I'm gonna take a shower," it wasn't casual. It was a signal. Don't follow. Don't ask. Don't exist. I stayed on the couch, staring into the dark reflection of the black TV screen. And for the first time I heard something break, not loudly, quietly. Deep inside me, something had shifted, and I couldn't unfeel it. That night in bed he lay beside me. Back turned, no arm around my waist, no sleepy mumbling, no warmth. Just space. Empty, deafening space. I told myself he was tired. I told myself work had been stressful. I told myself anything I could to fall asleep. But my body didn't believe me. My body was wide awake. Waiting. Bracing. The next week, it started small. He angled his phone away from me. Subtle. Not suspicious enough to accuse, but intentional enough to notice. If I walked behind him, the screen tilted slightly. When we sat side by side, his hand would cup the phone, thumb scrolling faster, eyes darting. He started taking calls in the bedroom. We'd never done that before. We used to take calls anywhere, kitchen, balcony, even mid-dinner. But now? His phone rang, he glanced, stood up quickly. Just a sec. Then the door closed behind him. Not slammed. Just closed. Like a lock on a secret. And once, just once, I heard him laugh in there. Soft. Familiar. That laugh used to be mine. Then came the nights out. The sudden plans. The vague explanations. Before he'd say, grabbing a drink with James, or meeting Ben after work. Now, I'm going out. Where? Just out. With who? A couple people. His vocabulary shrank on purpose. Details disappeared. Some nights, he'd come home 3 hours later than he said. No text. No call. Just a key in the door and the casual drop of a jacket on the chair like he'd gone to get milk. If I asked, he had a ready list. Traffic. Lost track of time. My phone died. I nodded. Smiled. Shrunk. Because if I pushed, I became the problem. So I waited. I gave him space. And every minute I did, I hated myself for it. Have you ever felt someone pulling away from you but didn't know how to call it out without sounding crazy? Comment I get it if you've been there. And if you haven't, just breathe with me because it's about to get worse. That Friday I decided to test something. Not to trap him. Not to trick him. Just to see if maybe I was imagining it. I made dinner. Real dinner. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, his favorite salad. I even lit the little candle we kept in the kitchen, sandalwood and vanilla, and played the playlist he used to love. When he walked in, I smiled. Hey, I made food. He looked at the table, then at me, like I was an unexpected guest at my own apartment. Looks good, he said. He ate. Barely spoke. Didn't ask about my day. Didn't notice the candle until it was half gone. When his phone buzzed, he grabbed it instantly, like it was oxygen, and his whole body shifted. His spine straightened. His eyes flicked away. He stood up. I'm gonna take this. Who is it? I asked, pretending to smile. He didn't meet my eyes. Just work stuff. Door closed. Again. By Sunday, my chest felt permanently tight. Like breathing had become a privilege. I started replaying the last year and a half like a detective, examining every laugh, every kiss, every Tuesday night takeout for clues I missed. And I hated myself for wondering, was any of it real? In part 3, I asked the question that changed everything. And Liam's answer? It wasn't just devastating. It rewrote the entire relationship. Stick with me, it's about to unravel. Monday night. The apartment was too quiet, that kind of silence that hums. I made penne with garlic bread, the kind of comfort food that says, we live here. We belong here. The kind of meal I'd made 100 times before. Liam sat across from me, picking at his plate like every noodle was a burden. His phone face down sat beside his fork. Felt like a slap. I set my fork down. Can we talk about something? He looked up. Blank. Careful. Sure. But I saw it. Flicker. That calculation. That moment he weighed how much truth to give me, or how little. Are we okay? I asked. He blinked. What do you mean? I mean us. You've been different, distant, secretive, and I don't want to guess. If something's wrong, just tell me. He exhaled hard, like I had exhausted him by simply caring. Nothing's wrong, he said. Liam, I tried again, softer this time. You've been taking calls behind closed doors, going out and not saying with who. You had dinner with someone last week and got defensive when I asked. That's not like you. That's not like us. His jaw tensed. I'm busy. That's it. Busy with what? Work. Life. Friends. Normal stuff. Friends, I repeated slowly. Okay. Which friends? And that was it. That was the moment the mask cracked. He pushed his chair back just a little and scoffed. What is this? Are you interrogating me now? That word, interrogating, hit like a slap I never saw coming. I swallowed. No. I'm asking a question. A fair one. He laughed once. No humor. Just air and venom. Boyfriend. He echoed like it was a foreign word. I felt it. Right then. Something inside me dropped. Like an elevator cable snapped in my chest. He leaned in, voice calm but sharp enough to cut. Marina, you're doing a lot. You're reading into things. You're assuming. There it was again. That damn word. Assuming. He made it sound like a flaw. Like hope was a mistake. You're making it weird, he said. I'm allowed to have friends. I'm allowed to have privacy. I nodded slowly, steadying my voice even though my hands were cold. I'm not saying you can't, Liam. I'm saying it feels like you're hiding part of your life from me. He looked at me. Long. And then, maybe because you react like this. Maybe because you turn everything into a problem. I felt the world tilt. The candle on the table flickered, casting shadows that suddenly looked like strangers. This was the trap. If I asked questions, I was controlling. If I pushed, I was dramatic. If I stayed quiet, I was naive. And the most dangerous part, I felt myself believing him. I felt myself doubting my own instincts. That's what gaslighting does. It doesn't make you believe a liar. It makes you stop believing yourself. I swallowed hard. Okay, I said softly. And Liam, sweet, calm, manipulative Liam, relaxed. He leaned back like he'd won. Good, he said. Because I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna sit here justifying my life because you're insecure. Insecure. The label he wanted to hang on me like a scarlet letter. I stared at him. At the man who slept in my bed, ate my food, laughed with my family, kissed my forehead on Sunday mornings. And in that moment I realized something terrifying. He wasn't confused. He wasn't misunderstood. He was comfortable. Comfortable living a double life. Comfortable letting me orbit him just close enough to serve him, but never close enough to question him. Pause here. Have you ever been in a situation where asking for clarity made you the villain? Where someone spun your truth into weakness? Let me know in the comments. This part stings. The breakup didn't come that night. There was no fight. No door slamming. Just quiet. Liam went to bed early. Didn't say goodnight. Just walked down the hallway like nothing had happened. Like we hadn't just stood on the edge of something irreversible. I sat on the couch long after the lights went out, listening to the hum of the fridge and the soft ticking of the wall clock, trying to find the moment when my reality split in two. By morning, something in me had changed. Not broken. Hardened. He moved around the apartment like he always did. Making coffee. Zipping up his jacket. Kissing my cheek like it was routine, like affection had become ceremony. That's when I knew. He was never going to tell me the truth on his own. In part 4, Liam finally says it out loud. The truth. The sentence that shattered everything and rewrote 2 years of my life. And I realized I had been played, not by accident but by design. Don't miss it. We're getting to the core now. Stay close. 3 days passed. Quiet ones. The kind where everything looks normal but feels wrong. Like a stage set made of cardboard and good lighting. Then, on a regular Thursday evening, Liam muted the TV and said the words I somehow knew were coming. We need to talk. My heart didn't race. It dropped. I sat very still as he looked at the screen, not at me, and said, calm as ever. I don't think this is working anymore. Working. Like we were a printer jam or a subscription. I nodded slowly. Okay. He glanced at me. confused by my calm. Maybe he expected tears. Maybe he wanted them. "You've been assuming a lot about us," he said. "And that's on you." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He sighed like he was bored of the topic. "We were never exclusive, Marina. You just assumed." There it was. The sentence. The one that broke 2 years into pieces so small I couldn't gather them if I tried. I stared at him, waiting for a laugh. Just kidding. You know what I mean." None came. My chest turned hollow, like there was nothing left inside me but wind. "Liam," I said carefully, "we live together." He shrugged. "That doesn't automatically mean anything. People live together all the time. For convenience." Convenience. Like I was a storage unit, a subscription, a service he could cancel. My hands were cold but my voice didn't shake. "We split bills. We made dinner together. You spent Christmas with my parents." He stared at the wall, jaw tight. "We never had a conversation about being exclusive. You just filled in the blanks." And there it was. He wasn't lying. Not technically. He just let me hope. Let me paint a picture on a blank wall while he handed me the brush and stood silently in the doorway. So I asked, "That's it?" He nodded. "I think it's for the best," he said like he was ending a subscription to Spotify. Could have screamed. Could have thrown something. But instead, clarity landed like glass finally wiped clean. "Okay," I said. His eyebrows lifted. "Okay. I'll move out," I said. "I'll take my stuff this weekend." "That's fine," he replied. Like I hadn't just handed him 2 years of my life wrapped in silence. I stood up, turned off the TV, walked into the bedroom. He didn't follow. I moved out quietly. No dramatic speeches. No messy breakup posts. No fights over who owned the coffee table. Just boxes, clothes, books, photos I couldn't even look at yet. I left the furniture because I wasn't going to fight over a couch while my heart bled on the floor. He wasn't home the day I left. Of course he wasn't. He planned it that way. Cowardice wrapped in scheduling. I dropped my keys on the counter beside the bowl of fruit we never finished and I walked out. The days that followed didn't bring tears the way I expected. They brought numbness. Grief showed up quietly, in tiny ambushes. Reaching for my phone to text him something funny. Passing the grocery store we used to shop at together on Sundays. Waking up in my friend's guest room and forgetting, just for a second, that my life was now divided into before and after. And what hurt the most wasn't missing him. It was realizing how much of myself I gave to a fantasy I built out of crumbs. Have you ever had to walk away quietly? Not because you didn't care, but because staying meant losing yourself? Comment I walked if you've ever had to protect your own peace. And if you haven't, stay with me. Because the story isn't done yet. 1 week later I got a message request on my phone. Lena Archer. Liam's cousin. We weren't close but I knew her. We'd spent holidays together. She was sweet, quiet, thoughtful. Her message read, "Hey Marina. Can we talk? It's about Liam. There's something you should know." I stared at it for a long time. The screen dimmed. I reread it. I didn't want more pain. I didn't want more explanations. But something about something you should know hit different. "What now?" I replied. "Okay. What's going on? Can we meet? Coffee? I really don't want to do this over text." My stomach turned. That night I barely slept. The next afternoon we met at a quiet cafe downtown. She was already there, holding her coffee like it was keeping her grounded. Eyes nervous, hands fidgeting. "Thanks for coming," she said, stirring a cup that was already cold. "What's going on?" I asked, sliding into the seat across from her. She looked up at me, and with one sentence she shattered everything that was still standing. "Marina, Liam is engaged." In the final part 5, the truth finally explodes. Everything I thought I knew gets flipped. And for the first time in months I stopped shrinking. You're not going to believe what happened next, and how the story truly ends. Don't miss the ending. It's not revenge. It's reclamation. I stared at Lena, the words still echoing like thunder I hadn't heard coming. "He's engaged." It didn't register at first. "What?" She spoke gently like she was holding glass. "He's been engaged for 6 months. To a woman he works with. They're getting married this spring. In April." The cafe noise faded. The cups clinking. The background music. All of it dropped away. My ears buzzed. 6 months. While he was kissing my forehead in the mornings. While we were splitting rent. While my mother was calling him to ask what he wanted for Thanksgiving. He was engaged. To someone else. I gripped the edge of the table to keep myself upright. "You're sure?" I asked, barely above a whisper. Lena nodded. "He told the family back in May. He asked us not to post anything online. Said they were keeping it private." I swallowed, the nausea rising in my throat. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Because you deserve to know," she said immediately. "What he did to you is wrong. And when I realized you didn't know, I couldn't stay quiet." My voice shook. "Does she know about me?" Lena looked devastated. "No. He told her he lived with a male roommate. Said he was an old college friend who needed a place." I laughed. "Once. Sharp. Broken. So, he was lying to both of us." Lena nodded, her eyes watering. "Yeah. 3 weeks out of every month he traveled. That's what he told both of us. But really he was just rotating his lies like shifts at a job. He built a life with 2 women. At the same time. Like we were departments he could clock in and out of." "How did no one tell me?" I asked, my voice trembling now. "How did his whole family know about her? And no one said a thing about me." Lena looked down at her cup. "We thought you knew," she admitted. "Or that maybe you were just roommates. Or had broken up but still lived together." He made it sound simple. My hands were shaking. "You were separate," she said. "He kept you separate. Compartmentalized." That word landed like a stone. He didn't just lie. He organized the lies. Strategically. Carefully. Coldly. Tell me in the comments. And if you've dealt with something similar, share your story. You're not alone. Subscribe for more stories about standing your ground and reclaiming your life. After that conversation, I couldn't sit still. I walked for hours. Through the city. Past strangers and glowing storefronts I couldn't even see. My phone buzzed and I ignored it. Work. Friends. None of it mattered. He was engaged. For 6 months. While he lived with me. Slept beside me. Let me plan a future in my head. The rage didn't explode. It built. One memory at a time. One receipt. One casual "love you." That now felt like poison. I sat on a cold park bench as the sun dipped behind the skyline and typed a single text. I had unblocked his number. Just once. "Me, I know about the engagement." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then came the reply. "Liam. Who told you?" No denial. No confusion. Not even a "what are you talking about?" Just damage control. "Me, does it matter?" "Liam, yes it matters." "Who was it?" I laughed out loud. A bitter, stunned laugh that startled the dog walker passing by. "Me, someone who still believes in honesty." There was a pause. Then, "Liam. It's not what you think. You don't understand the situation." "Me, really? Because from here it looks like you've been engaged for 6 months while living with me. While splitting bills. While planning weekends with my family. Am I wrong?" Dot. 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 Nothing. No reply. That silence told me everything. "Me, you don't respond because there's no version of this that makes it okay." I blocked him again. This time forever. The fallout came fast. I didn't witness it directly. But I didn't need to. Lena texted me 2 days later. "Lena, he's losing it. He's calling everyone, trying to find out who told you." Me. "Thank you for telling the truth." She told him it was her. Brave. Honest. And when she did, the rest of the family started putting pieces together. The timelines unraveled. Stories clashed. Excuses collapsed. Someone told the fiancé. I don't know if it was Lena. Or a cousin. Or if Liam, in a panic, tried to beat the clock. But within a week the engagement was off. 6 months of planning. Cancelled. A spring wedding gone. The life he thought he could juggle forever? Exposed. His mom called me that Sunday. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Her voice shook. "Marina, I had no idea. If I had known what he was doing, I would have said something. I swear." I believed her. Because shame lived in her voice. Not just guilt. Shame. "I'm so sorry," she said again. "What he did is unforgivable. It's not your fault, I told her. And I meant it. He lied to everyone. After that, I stopped hearing his name. But word travels. He couldn't afford the apartment on his own. Lost it within a month. Moved back in with his parents. His friends, the real ones, backed away. Some cut him off completely. Others stayed polite but cold. Because no one trusts a man who can live two lives that cleanly. He tried reaching out through mutual friends. Apologies. Explanations. Vague regrets. But I declined every message. Because here's the thing about complications. They don't last for a year and a half unless someone is benefiting from your confusion. People ask if I feel bad for him. If I regret speaking up. I don't. I didn't destroy his life. The truth did. My life didn't magically fix itself. There was no cinematic glow-up montage. Healing was small, slow, real. I moved into a tiny studio apartment. Nothing fancy, but mine. No shared toothbrushes. No hidden phones. No love story built on lies. I went back to the gym, reconnected with friends I'd neglected, said yes to late-night conversations, weekend trips, laughing again without bracing for disappointment. And I learned something. Assumptions aren't always wrong. When someone lives like your partner, shares your bed, your bills, your milestones, it's not naive to believe they're your partner. What's naive is trusting someone who uses that belief against you. Liam said we were never exclusive. He was right about one thing. I assumed he was a decent human being. That was my only real mistake. Let me know in the comments where you listen from, and if this hit home for you. And if you've been through something similar, don't stay silent. Share your story. Someone needs to know they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories about standing your ground and reclaiming your life. You deserve truth. You deserve peace. You deserve better.